Dear listeners, you're listening to the Pashtun Mermanno Jirga, presented by PashtunWomenViewpoint.com.
د پښتنو ښځو د لرلید ویبپاڼه. قدرمنو اوریدونکو، تاسو د پښتنو ښځو د لرلید د ویبپاڼې یا PashtunWomenViewpoint.com څخه د میرمنو جرګه اورئ.
موږ په دې خبرونه کې په ګڼ شمېر موضوعاتو خبرې اترې او غونډې کوو چې پکې روانې کلتوري، ټولنیزې، سیاسي، قانوني، تاریخي او اقتصادي چارې شامل دي.
Dear Jirga listeners, we are honored to have here with us today Tarek Fatah, the distinguished Pakistani-Canadian scholar and journalist. Our co-hosts are Malala from Prague and Nazrana Yousafzai from Washington, D.C. And I'm your host, Urbala. Today's topics include Malala and some regional issues.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. We know you don't have much time, so we really appreciate this. Today's topic is Malala Yousafzai, and we just have a few questions we'd like to, hear your response to. And the first one is the very common, why Malala? I mean, we have so many females, women, men who are fighting for women's rights or fighting for human rights within Pakistan, and yet Malala is the one that stands out the most to everyone. And she's not the only one who has been attacked by the Taliban either. So why do you think Malala is the one who's getting all this attention?
Yeah, well, there's a difference between Malala and others that Malala has been writing about this. I mean, a lot of people, and I'm surprised at the criticism of Malala in Pakistan, especially in Karachi and Lahore, where people, I think there's a sense of jealousy at a lack of accomplishment, because most human rights activists are working for NGOs. They have made it a profession, while this girl has thrown the challenge out of a small town. She's not an urban sort of a celebrity. She's not Asma Jahangir or Hussain Haqqani or, any of the other stalwarts. So there's a purity in what she stands for. There's an innocence. And that is why it's not few people, but millions of people around the world from... when I have people asking me to set up a petition from a village in Kenya, they have no direct links. But what they see in Malala is an innocence and a lack of selfishness. I tell you that most of the human rights activists today in Pakistan are not, how can I be polite? They seem to have taken it as a job, like engineer or a physician or an accountant. So they're human rights activists. I said she defies the conventional model. What is a human rights activist?
Taliban didn't threaten women in other areas. I mean, in Punjab, Sindh, it's all happening in Pashtun areas. Do you agree, yeah? The international media calling her a Pakistani girl. Do you think it's affecting her cause of fighting Pakistan establishment who are backing actually Taliban? I mean...
The Western media is very unfamiliar with what is Pakistan. They don't understand the difference between Pashtun culture or Punjabi culture at all. When I was a young man, the Pashtuns are very different people. The Indus River divides the Pashtun areas from the rest of India. Today, looking at Pakistan, but Pakistan is a very artificial state. There is more common between the Durand line than Pashtun from, say, Lahore. There's nothing common there. Can't even talk to each other.
I just want to ask that since we know Pashtuns are in the front row in war on terror and Malala's episode, I want to ask if this will change the atmosphere for atmosphere of education for Pashtun girls for better, or do you think it will further scare away other girls?
I think if Malala wins the Nobel Peace Prize, there will only be a very marginal improvement. I genuinely feel that the state of Pakistan itself is the biggest impediment, biggest obstacle in the growth of ordinary women in Pakistan. It is structured around Islam. It is structured around Sharia law, which is the basic constitution of Pakistan. And under that law, the woman will always have to sit at the back row of a mosque, even if she's allowed to get in. So you can't ask for women's rights and then claim we want Islamic Sharia as the guiding principle. These are contradictions. I think that is why Bacha Khan didn't want Pashtun to join Pakistan.
You spoke of the Malala Nobel Peace Prize, which is one of the primary reasons why we wanted to talk about Malala with you today. What do you think the chances of the approval of this petition, or what do you think her chances of receiving the Nobel Peace Prize are?
Well, I don't know the inside workings of the Nobel Foundation, but I'm quite confident that Malala Yousafzai will win the Nobel Peace Prize. I can't imagine some year-old man saying that I won the Nobel Prize when Malala Yousafzai could have won it. So the process is such that only a very restricted number of people can nominate for the Nobel Peace. That is elected members of parliament, leaders of political parties, or former Nobel Prize winners. In the case of Malala Yousafzai, the Prime Minister of Canada, of the Liberal Party here, our Minister of Citizenship in Canada, nominated her a long time ago, as well as 150 members of the French Parliament, and just before, a day before the deadline, 3 members of the Norwegian Labour Party. So she's already nominated. That much we know. The issue then becomes, how do the people who don't know who they are come to a decision? And for that, we will continue to sort of run this petition that already has 500,000 members around the world to raise awareness, importance of Malala Yousafzai winning this, and the profound effect it will have on the rights of Muslim girls. In Malala's own words, the right to sing, the right to play, the right to go to school, the right to dance, all those rights. Quite confident that she will.
Can you give us a few reasons, just a couple of reasons for why you do believe she deserves this prize?
Well, one of the reasons is that there is no other person living right now, or an institution that has taken such a huge task at such an early age, quite the fascist. I mean, you have to understand that 12 years after the war on terrorism did not make an effect against the Taliban as a single bullet fired by the Taliban at the head of Malala Yousafzai. She has not only beaten and defeated the Taliban, she defeated the odds of survival. I mean, how many people can live with a bullet going through their head? So, in a very strange way, Malala is a miracle. And I cannot imagine anyone, the Nobel Committee, saying, I don't think we should give her the medal, we should give it to, say, Mullah Omar, for example. So, just make sure that my disappointment, by the way, is in Pakistan. You know that not even 1% of these 500,000 people signed the petition after Pakistan.
Really?
No, they didn't want to. It's a very jealous people. Had it not been for Farah Isfahani, who's in Washington, D.C., trying her level best, she couldn't get any member of the Pakistani parliament to sign this. Then Bushra Gohar, other than Bushra Gohar, who's ANP, you couldn't get anyone to sign the petition. The other problem is that too many Pashtuns are from the upper class are getting their daughters married to the sons of generals of the Pakistan army. I'm being very straightforward. The whole culture is the Punjabi domination of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And if they had their way, the Pashto language would die. You have so many what is called Arab Afghans living in the Fatah areas, Uzbeks and Chechens and Bosnians and some even American converts to Islam, and Arabs, of course, changed the very look of what Pashtun culture is. If Bacha Khan came back today, he wouldn't recognize what happened to his people. So the responsibility of educated Pashtun women especially is very big, because what Malala has done for you has created the opportunity for you to stand up and say, this is not Pashtun culture. It may be Arab culture, it may be Punjabi culture, it may be Pakistani culture, which is a contradiction, or rather an oxymoron, but it isn't the 1,000-year Pashtun culture for the inheritors. So Malala should be used by Pashtun women to say we are all Malala. I mean, if Madonna can say that, why not all of you?
Yeah, here at Pashtun Women VP, we've written a few articles on Malala, and we have been extremely supportive of her cause, and we're completely with her. So we hope that we can reach out to as many Pashtun women as possible. And as Pashtun women, I'm glad you mentioned this. The fact that she's arguing that this is not what the Taliban are doing is not Pashtun culture. It is not.
Yeah.
And I think that one of our most important leaders, Bacha Khan, would definitely be very proud of her.
Yeah. I met Bacha Khan.
Really?
On my honeymoon.
Wow.
I was in 1978 in Quetta, and for the first time, the government had allowed Bacha Khan to leave what was NWFP, and I met him at Quetta airport, and there was a lot of military surrounding him. Do you know how he went from Quetta airport to wherever he went? He took a minivan. I'm serious. He just took a minivan. There were 3 people with him. They got onto the minivan and they left. I mean, everyone paid, I think it was 10 rupees or something like that. And he sat and he left. This is Bacha Khan's tradition. And look, how can Pakistanis accept him? Because he represented,
Ordinary.
Yeah, ordinary people. Like he created the Khudai Khidmat Ka. Today you cannot even say Khuda Hafiz in Pakistan.
Yeah, I want to talk about Taliban a little bit. I have a question, and that recently, after meeting Pakistani and Afghan presidents, UK MP ensured a peace deal that it could happen with the Taliban in 6 months. So, do you think it's realistic? Some people argue it should be taken seriously given UK's influence on Pakistan.
I don't think it's realistic, because the Taliban is nothing more than the Pakistan army. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Pakistan is like if I said I, me and myself. These will not be 3 people. It's one. The Pakistan army, the ISI, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, all are the same. And I'll tell you why. In the recent terror attacks in Algeria, do you know what their main demand was? It was the release of Afia Siddiqui.
Yes.
So you need to understand that President Zardari is only in power at the mercy of the Pakistan Armed Forces. Now, he's a very brave man because he has outfoxed every manipulation by these very cunning and corrupt military officers of Pakistan. But as long as there is a Pakistan, the Taliban will stay alive, because the basic question is, if there are 20,000 Taliban soldiers, and each one is being paid $500 a month, who is paying these millions of dollars every month to sustain that army? Every bullet that is bought, not less than 100 rupees. Who fires these bullets in the air when they have a wedding or some stupid ceremony? Where does this money come? Without Pakistan military support to the Taliban, the Taliban would not exist.
We have seen that recently Pakistan has released many Taliban leaders from their prisons. So do you think Pakistan has changed its policy of strategic depth towards Afghanistan?
It's a fraud. I mean, I sometimes tell my American and Canadian friends who are white Anglo-Saxon Americans that they seem to be more experts in the Super Bowl than the real Super Bowl that is taking place over there. They know everything about that quarterback and this quarterback, but they know absolutely nothing about who is doing what in Pakistan. Senator McCain has identified 2 fertilizer factories owned and operated by the Pakistan Army retired generals that supply 100% of the IEDs that killed American and Canadian soldiers. Yet the owner of that fertilizer factory In America, you cannot absolve the United States of blame as well. It's quite dangerous. And unless we understand that Taliban is actually Pakistan, everything else is a silly debate then. Because if you're giving money to Pakistan, billions of dollars by the Americans, and the Pakistan is giving that money to the Taliban, and the Taliban are killing people in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and then you release Taliban prisoners to sit down and have talk. I mean, this is like a Saturday Night Live feature.
Pakistan's support to Taliban is no more a mystery. Everybody is aware of that now. Recently, Gwadar port has been handed to China. Do you see a weaker Afghanistan in future? I mean,
you see, China's policy. I hate to use this word, but Pakistan is like a concubine. Anyone can hire Pakistan for the night. So China wants a submarine base at the mouth of the Persian Gulf. So Gwadar has been taken from the Singapore company and has been handed over to the Chinese armed forces.
Okay, I want to ask if we are going to see any efforts for the rights of other ethnic groups or their resources, mainly talking about Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the future.
Well, I'm quite close to many of the Baloch national groups, and I think the Baloch are so divided amongst themselves that in the 1970s or 60s, when the National Awami Party was there, all the Baloch and Pashtun leadership, like secular nationalists. I feel that in Balochistan it has become divided amongst those who have gone out of the country, and then Sardar Akhtar Mengal is there, and that is affecting the fight over resources of Balochistan as well as in the Pashtun areas. So when they dismiss the Balochistan government, there is much more to it than what appears. There's a Canadian mining company that's building a gold mine in I think it's the Rico Deep area. And by dismissing the Balochistan government now, Canadian mining company Black Gold has act and deals will be signed, which will be against the interests of the people of Balochistan. This can only be stopped if our willing to have a broad unity in what they say and how they enact. I give a talk ANP in Huawei. They have very wise leaders. They have lost many of them. In Balochistan, they are so divided, I don't think they can stop the Punjabi elite from looting their natural resources.
All right, I think that should be all for now, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for talking with us. We really appreciate your time.
Okay, Khuda Hafiz. Take care. Bye-bye.
د میرمنو د جرګې د پروګرام اوریدلو څخه مو مننه. که غواړئ زموږ لپاره کله وکړئ نو پر دې برېښنالیک اړیکه راسره ونیسئ. www.pashtunwomenvp.com